Hello YouTube! Hello, hello. Back again with Kazuya again. And this time we're gonna be labbing one of my most favorite characters. I'm joking, of course. Anyone who knows me knows that I despise bears. I think bears is my most despised character in Tekken in general. Not Tekken 7, in Tekken in general. But yeah, this character, man, this character requires you to know very, very specific stuff just for him. Just because he's so special. So Kuma, very special man. Very special character. You have to know everything about this character just to, you know, play against him. It's like the rules change. Basically the rules of Tekken change whenever you play against bears, more or less. One of the biggest things you have to know about this matchup is that Kuma cannot sidestep well, and his backdash ain't the best either. So, for example, Kazuya can use 443s a lot more freely, since it won't be backdashed or stepped almost at all. Right? That's good to know. 443 is basically free. You won't get launched for it. The worst case scenario, you'll either get countered or they block it. Most likely it will clip them if they sidestep. Most likely. So that's a good thing to do. To know in general. But the other thing is, since bears don't have good movement in general, like this, right? They don't have good movement. What they do have is a atrocious hitbox. Can I play Marduk? Sure, next time I will. When I'm done here. Like, their hitbox is absolutely horrible. Like, their legs are very far away from their hitbox. And that makes hitting something like a hell sweep, for example, a little bit harder on bears than it is on any other character. Like, hell sweeps have a higher chance of whiffing against bears because of their weird legs. And it's the same with other characters as well. For example, Akuma has a very hard time getting a clean hit down 3 against bears. Very, very hard time. So you have to like look out for that particular moment and notice that if they're too far away and you think the hell sweep's gonna hit on a normal character, maybe it'll whiff on this guy. So be careful about that. But in general, those kind of mix-ups aren't that bad because 443, you know? 443 is very strong, especially if they can't step it. Yeah, in the neutral, just look out for that. Because a good bear player will be moving a lot, especially moving back. Because of, and even though the backdash ain't that good, because of the hitbox of his legs, those are very, very hard to hit. And in general, things just whiff sometimes randomly. Because bears. Yeah, other than that, the neutral gameplay of Kuma is more or less simple. He will try to like a good bear players will try to make you whiff punish stuff, because he has a very good whiff punisher with down 4-2-1. This is Kuma's twin pistons, right? Into whatever. This is a very, very good long range whiff punisher. It reaches very, very far and does decent damage. I'm doing a shitty combo right now with this shit, but it still does 64 damage, so it's decent. Oh, and other than that, in the neutral, when they, you know, don't try to make you whiff something and you're not doing anything, they'll most of the time do lows like this, or this, or this, to open you up. Now, these lows are very, very important now, so let's just go over the lows first. First, it's the generic down 4. So Kuma's generic down 4 is a little bit special. It's safe, unlike the other ones are minus 13. It's slower, it's 16 frames fast, and it's also plus. So this generic down 4 is very, very strong for Kuma. It's +2, so this into this, for example, you can't interrupt this. Even if you jab, you cannot interrupt it. You can power crush through it, but Kazuya's power crush doesn't work because his power crush sucks, so be careful about it. This is safe. That means when it comes to Kuma and his lows, most of the time you need to be low pairing him. And it's exactly the same when it comes to this move. This is an 18 frame low, which is +3. And it's also safe. It's -8. You cannot punish this. It's not even -10, right, to take jab punish. It's legitimately safe. So, when it comes to Kuma, you have to be low parrying. Because he has a lot of safe lows. Like, this is one of them. This is another one. Thankfully, they don't really have good counter properties, either of them, right? Oh god. or any counter property at all, to be honest. But still, you have to be very, very careful. Most of the time, low parrying is the way to go. There's also the full crouch low, this one, which is +2, and also safe. -8. You cannot punish this. If you do try to punish it, like maybe do a wall stand 4-4, the Kuma player will get a free launch. They'll block it and do this on it, right? So be very, very careful. All these lows are safe. The one big low you have to look out for, which is not safe, it's down back 2. This one right here. If you do block this, this is -13. And with Kaz, that means you launch it. So this is the one low you have to be looking out for. Down back 2. And you have to know and notice the animation to see it's this and not this, for example, right? It kind of looks similar, but the hand is different. And the animation is a little bit different as well. So be very, very careful on the way when it comes to this move, because you have to twin piston it. If you think this is safe, then the Kuma player will abuse it too much, even though you can twin piston it. Okay. So that's usually the lows Kuma players go for, outside of like stance shenanigans and stuff like that. Usually they go for that. There are a lot of like, what's it called? Setups, not setups, cheesy lows as well, which I don't know the input for. Like there's a jumping low, for example. It looks something like this, the jump, but it goes into a low. And those kind of things you just have to know, and you have to like react to. That's like knowledge checks. When it comes to speed labs, I usually do say this, that I don't really cover knowledge checks that much. Because knowledge checks I can't really explain well other than check it yourself in the lab. Like something like this, for example, right? Also one of it. This low. Very slow low, but you have to just react to it. You see it, you duck it. And then you can punch with the wall standing too. That's Kazuya. There's this follow-up for this, for example, right? And you have to know this kind of stuff. The follow-ups and everything. But that doesn't mean your wall standing 2 doesn't work. But as I said, knowledge checks. You have to know them. Now let's talk about the mids that usually Kuma players use. So down forward 2 is like the checking tool the Kuma players usually use, but it's not that good because mine's not. But the thing it has is the mind game that they're gonna continue with. Because this exists, you kinda respect it. So you don't really, you know, do anything after it. But I think the right decision here is to actually press here. If they check with down forward 2 too much, you check back or mix them up. Like don't give a shit about the second hit. For a little bit, don't give a shit, because you're literally forcing them to do a launch punishable move. If they feel like, oh, I need to finish this to counter them, I think you already won. Because if you let them finish randomly and you launch it, that's it, right? GG's. Yeah. I don't think that combo works on bears, actually. So yeah, that's very, very good to know. Down forward 2 is like a very good mid check that they use, but it's not that good. Down forward 4 is also another one, a very safe, I want to say fast, very fast to mid, that's 12 frame fast. It's -4, so it has good frames, has pushback, but it's easily steppable to one side. I mean, you can step both sides, but it's easily steppable to the right. It's +7 on hit, but it's a great move in general. It has decent range, doesn't have the worst of ranges. I mean, it's not good range either, but it has decent range. It's not that bad. Right? It's like 2.0, something like that. Yeah, something like that. It's not the worst. Like, it works. Okay. Other than that, neutral, you also see this right here, forward 1 +2. This move is their go-to move for like either a mid check if they think you're gonna duck, and then they pick up with, I don't know, something like this, right? I think that's a hard pickup, but it's possible. Do a wall standing forward. Like that. Into whatever. Like, it will do decent damage. So be aware of this move. But this move, but on its own, it's -15. So if you electric correctly, it has a weird timing, but if you electric correctly, you do get a launch here. If you're playing Kaz. If you're not playing Kaz, you can hop your to whatever, right? So you do get a minus 15 punish here. But the exception is this follow-up. Right? So if you do try to electric it, you may get hit by this. But I still think trying to electric it, try to launch that is a very, very good move most of the time. Because this counter doesn't do anything. If it countered launch to, maybe you'll be hesitating a little bit more. But the risk isn't that big. The reward is amazing, right? You're gonna get a free launch for your electric gear. You get it. But if you don't guess correctly, you only get hit by like 24 damage. I mean, plus 9 as well, but it's whatever. It's not that big a deal. The reward is like much, much bigger than the risk. So be aware of that in this stream in general. But if you do block the second one as well, it is minus 13. I don't think it's steppable. Yeah, it's not steppable. I'll try double steppable. It is steppable. Okay. I love double steps, man. They're so cool. But you just can't use them in real matches most of the time. But yeah, it's minus 13 and you punish with back 1-2 most of the time. Or 2-2. That also works. Okay. Other than that, the important mid to know is also this power crush. A lot of people don't know how to punish this power crush properly. So normally this power crush, it is minus 13 and you can use back 1-2 or 2-2, right, to punish this. But the problem with doing that is this also has an option to go into bear stance, which makes it high crush, but also makes it minus 15. Right? You can't do back 1-2 or 2-2. You cannot do this. So the correct way to punish this is either down forward 4-4, like this, or 1+2. Either of the two. I like 1+2 because against bears, forward 4 a lot of the time is basically guaranteed. Like that. If you hit this and you're close enough, this is almost always guaranteed. Not almost always, but most of the time it's guaranteed. And not to mention if they mash, you're gonna get a counter hit. So yeah, be aware of that. This is basically punishable by mids only, up to 13 frames. So do a 1+2, or down forward 4-4. Up to twice 1+2, but you can use either one. Okay. Other than this move, it's also very good to know... not this. Like these kinds of knowledge checks, for example, is something you have to know for yourself. Like, if a Kuma does this, you have to know he has either a low option like this, right, which launches you normally. It is pretty slow, it's 25. But you also have to know the frames, it's not 16. And also there's a mid. But you can, this is like stuff you have to land. This is also 15. Right? This thing you have to know yourself. Okay. Now one of the most important parts about playing against bears, in my opinion. Serial Hella is this move. This move is their best mid to use in the neutral. This one right here. Because this goes to the plus frames and also goes to the bear stance. What this means is this enables a mix-up and mind game situation. Immediately after block. Right? And on hit, they do get guaranteed shit if you don't back roll. But you also have to know that it's back rollable. If you hold back, you can just back roll. And stop it again. Start. Oh, it ended already. I've been changing my title. That's why it's still the same title. But it did end. Okay, so that's about that. That on hit, you have to back roll so that doesn't get anything guaranteed. But let's talk about this on block. So normally on block, it is -2 for you normally, but it can become more minus depending on how far away the Kuma player is when this gets blocked. Let me try to demonstrate it, I guess. I don't know if I can demonstrate, it's a little bit hard to do it. But it can become like much more plus than that. There you go, +4. For example, right? It can become more plus. So be careful when it comes to challenging after that. But now let's talk about the options that the Kuma players have. So Kuma player either has an option to not go into stance and then check you with like, I don't know, down forward 2, down forward 1, down forward 4, or use lows like this, you know, neutral tools. Or they go into stance, which is 90% of the time. They will go into a stance and try to mix you up. Now let's talk about the stance options. Stance options are like the most important part to know about Kuma. And what to do against Kuma, specifically in this situation. Like this is a very common option, for example. The bear stance down forward 1. This is their mid check, basically. And they might use down forward 1-1 to like make more rewards. The big difference when it comes to bear stance down forward 1, like this is the same, looks very similar, right? This and this. The big difference is that this one has a high 1-1 and also a mid, right? While staying 1-2 and 1-1. I'll talk about this a little bit later. But when it comes to bear stance, this does not have a mid, the follow-up. It only has a high follow-up. So if you duck, you're not gonna get hit by a mid mix-up, basically. You are gonna get pressured more if you duck there, and they don't, you know, follow up with anything. They just, you know, pressure you. But still, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. So this is very, very common. But let's talk about this situation. They block this, and they did do this. The good thing about this is that when you block the hunting bear stance, this wall running move, sidestep left and sidewalk left in general, I think is a very, very good option. And I mean a very good option. It's, for example, this mid check whiffs a lot. It doesn't always whiff. If you mess up your timing, it cannot work, but it whiffs a lot. So a sidestep left is very, very good in that situation. The other mid that's also very common is this one. Very, very common. So if you do something like this into this, which is also very common, as I already said, this one. This is also a counter launcher, by the way, so that's why it's so good to do. Like you get launched. If you sidestep to the left, you also avoid this. Right? 100% avoidable. There are some exceptions, like if the hunting bear stance has too much plus frames, sometimes you won't be able to step some of the stuff. Like far away hunting bear stance into this, maybe you won't be able to step it. And try to make some space. Right? In that situation. That was +4 into that, I won't be able to step it. Basically tracks me. So you have to be careful and be aware of that. If the frames are not at your side, you will get hit. And I think it's the same for this move. Wait. Yep, look at that. Tracks you way, way better. So you can't really step in these situations. Oh, and I also have to say that most of the time, this is gonna be the situation you're gonna be in, not the other one, when I stepped it. It's just good to know when you can step. If the bear player uses the wall running move very close up, you know that the sidestep left is a very good option. But if he uses it from far away, which is like most of the time good bear players use it, that means the frames are a little bit altered and you can't really sidestep either this or this. They basically track you, so you have to know that. But since you know that they're steppable at least in one situation, that's also very, very important. Okay. Other than that, there are also low options that the bear players have, which is like 1-2, just 1, 2, and some mid options that are also risky, but also work, is something like this, right? 1+2. First, let's talk about this mid option, because I forgot this mid option existed. It's actually a thing that bear players sometimes use. So this mid option basically exists for high crushing. If you check with any kind of high, of course mids will work against this, right? Any kind of mid will work. But if you check with any kind of high, this is what happens. It exists for high crushing purposes, but it is launch punishable. It's hard to launch with an electric, I'm gonna be honest. It's very, very weird block start. You have to be super fast for it. But you can down forward 1-2, I'm pretty sure. Never mind, you cannot do it. Yeah, be careful about that in general. You have to be careful. So don't jab check. Like, I'm not used to punishing this that well. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not used to it. But it's launch punishable. If you play like an easy 15 frame character, launching punishable Like basically someone with a hop kick. If you play someone with a hop kick, you can easily launch that. This needs a bit of practice when it comes to guys, which I haven't practiced that much, I'm gonna be honest. As I said, I hate this matchup. I hate bears in general. I don't think I hate the matchup as much as I just hate bears. I don't like the design. Okay. So, this. Now let's talk about the lows. Put this into just this one, right? So just this one is minus 11, but you have to be ducking for the other low as well. So it's a kind of a mind game, these two lows. 1, 2. So if you try to punish just the one, you might get hit by the second one, because I'm pretty sure it's the layable. Wait. Unless I remember. I'm remembering wrong. Like that, yep. Yep, just like that. So if you try to punish this, it won't work. So you have to guess if they're gonna do both or not. But the thing is, the good part about the second hit is that it's minus 13. You can launch it. But the best thing to do against it is, of course, you low parry. You low parry, you don't have to guess about anything. You already know that you low parry. And you just know. Get yourself a free combo. Now the 2. The 2 solely exists so you can change the timing of the low. So this low, even though it's slower, like way slower than this, it's very good because it has very different timing from this, which is very fast. So you can't just fuzzy. That means you'll get hit by this. So you have to be very careful about that. But I'll talk about this move. So this move, if you get hit, it's minus 21 for you. You are not pressing anything. But the Kuma player can't really take advantage of it too much because of the pushback it gives. As you guys can see on hit, I'm very, very far away. You can take advantage of it, of course, but not too much. So be aware of that. Also, this move also tracks. So when I say the sidestep left is really good against bears, it's one of the moves that track. And the low also tracks really well. Be very careful. But it is minus 15. If you do block it, you TP it. I wish it was 16, obviously. I'm a Kazuya player. But 15 works, because no matter the pushback, TP still works here. Like even if I backdash into a duck, it just works. Right? Do whatever combo you want. Do whatever you want here. Yeah, that's one of the options the bear players have. But there's also other stuff, which is like the cheese that they have, right? Like this, for example. Not a lot of bear players use this move because how slow it is. This is a grab from bear stance that's unbreakable. It's a high, you have to duck it. So be aware of this. You also have to know that it's possible that they might use it. It's hard to see as well, it's not easily seeable. This is an unbreakable grab, you cannot break this. So you gotta duck it. Other than that, I don't know, this hunting bear stance, I guess that's like the most common stuff. A lot of people also don't know this fact as well, so I might as well say it. Is that this stance has an auto low parry if the bear player holds forward. See this? So if the bear player holds forward here, they automatically low parry. They don't need to actually manually low parry, it's an automatic low parry. But all you have to do is move forward. Of course they're going to be very, very susceptible to mids, but it's an automatic low parry. Can't complain about it too much. Okay. There are like other very, very cheesy options when it comes to bears as well. There's like a spinning low and stuff like that, which I don't know the input for that well. There's also an unblockable that spins him around, but it's not really an unblockable. Like, I don't know how to do the input for the unblockable, right? It starts with this, but then you do some weird shit, and then he starts rolling around on the ground. So one thing you have to know about that is that it's not unblockable, and you can block it. So just hold forward, because it has a ton of tracking. I can't show you guys because I don't know how to do the move. So it's back 1+4. Let me try to see it. Maybe it's gonna be here. Back 1 plus 4. There you go. This move. So this move has a lot of tracking. Right? If you step, sometimes it will track you, especially if they're far away. Like, look at this. Damn. There you go. This is what I want to see. Let's have a hello. So most of the time, the best thing to do against this is just block. Like, block this and forward, forward, forward. But be aware that forward, forward, forward here is a little bit awkward to do. Because of the block stun. You may get the misinput here a lot. So be a little bit careful. Maybe do a down forward 3 instead. That also works. So just know this fact, that it's not unblockable. It looks like it, but it's not. There's some other cheesy stuff as well. Here, I don't know how to do the roll, for example. The double low roll that better players also do. I don't know how to do that, but that's also one of the cheesy stuff you have to usually react to. I'm not talking about that power crush because it's really not something that a lot of better players use. You got this roll, there you go. This one. Like, they usually use this as a kind of mind game tool when it comes to like good bear players, because they don't usually they don't have to finish it, because you roll and block, and it actually recovers very quickly. This thing right here. But just know how to punish the options. For example, this low, you have to know that it comes out in like pretty fast frames, and you can't punish it with something like a wall standing too, right? You can't punish it like this. You gotta float with the wall standing forward. This is basically like a slide. You can also use electrics. You can't. I thought you could. Wait, let me try it. I made it work once. Maybe it was the angle. Never mind. Yeah, I got a wall standing forward. I thought electric would work here. But yeah, wall standing forward is like the best thing to do here anyway. You block it and you just float it. There's also a mid here, like this one, which comes out in roughly the same frames, to be honest. But it's very risky for the bear player to do it because it's launch punishable. So if you see this shit, you have to launch it. As I said, bears are usually a very gimmicky character most of the time, so you have to know your stuff. And since you don't see them that often, it's kind of hard to know your stuff as well. So yeah, be careful. Oh, and I almost forgot. This is also one of the best mids he has right now. This mid right here. This mid was already good. It wasn't that bad, but they buffed it in the latest patch, which was a long time ago. But now it's counter launcher. It does a shit ton of damage, right? So be aware of this as well, this move. It's safe mid, it's fast, not fast, it's slow, but it's very, very strong. It's a safe mid. It's also tracking. And it's a counter launcher that does a shit ton of damage. Like, I don't know their combo here, right? That was 65 with the shitty ass combo, so it does a lot of damage. Okay. The other stuff I can like advise with is to just know how to deal with some of the what's it called? The cheesy gimmicks that he has. Like, I can't show all of them, as I said. I don't know a lot about Kuma's inputs in general, but you have to lab them. Like, when you go up against Kuma and you see it, then you go into a lab session and just check it out. And if you don't hate Kuma like I do, it will be way easier to lab it. Oh, and the one other thing you also have to know is this hop. So this one hop, it's a normal hop, it's minus 13. You can punish it normal, right? But then Kuma comes in with the other hop, the second one, which, to be honest, isn't really a mix-up, but you just have to know that they both exist, right? So if you mash your punish here, both of them get punished. But remember that this is minus 11, so you can't really 2-2. You cannot 2-2 punish this. So back 1-2 works wonders here for both of them. You just smash after you see the first option. But then there's the third tip, this one right here. So if you mash back 1-2, you are gonna get countered. But this is launch punishable. Right? At least, like, normally it's minus 15. Oh. But then, this is the thing. It becomes -13 if they go into bear stance. So down forward 1 doesn't really become a punish anymore. They cancel this, correct? Like, right? So something like down forward 4 is a punish, and 1 + 3 is a punish. But something like back 1-2, for example, will whiff here. You need a mid. 100% need a 13 frame or faster mid. Be aware of that string. There's also one more string I'm gonna say, and that's gonna be it for the speed lab. Because normally I do go into rage, but Kuma's rage is a little bit weird. Actually, I'll still go into it. But first, let's talk about the string. This string. So this string is also used by some Kuma players, and you just have to know what the properties are. The only thing you have to know here is not where to sidestep or anything like that. Like, for example, if they delay, you can sidestep it, right? But only to one side. But the moves you have to know is the properties and minuses. Like, this is 18 and -21, for example. Block all of this, you get a free wall stand. But this is a mix-up. You have to guess. They either stop here, or they finish the whole thing. So, know this free mind game. Yeah, Sin, just like you said, in this matchup, like the Kazuya matchup specifically, this is also a launch for you, basically. It doesn't always work, but most of the time works. So I can definitely get a decent combo damage from this as well. While staying 4, that it doesn't always work. And you get a combo, right? Decent damage. Yeah, those kind of stuff is good to know in general. Oh, and one more thing, because before I go into rage, I have to talk about the wall combo. The wall combo in Kuma, when it comes to Kaz, is very, very janky, and it doesn't work. Most of the time, it will not work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But most of the time, it won't. So if you do this combo, it's a wall combo, for example, right? Most of the time, this won't work. And you'll actually get back-turned, and you will be at the wall. So now we have to ask ourselves what the most consistent wall combo is for bears. And the answer is this right here. As a wall combo, if you want to be very consistent, which also deals decent damage, does the same damage as the wall standing 4 combo, you do this. For consistency's sake. Because this has a worse soaking. But the thing is, it's very, very consistent, and it's decent damage. It's not that bad. And you won't change sides or anything weird like that. You're still gonna take the wall pressure. So yeah, very, very useful. Very useful to know. Use this as a wall combo most of the time. There are like some special wall combo situations as well, with like doing multiple down forward 1-4s. But that requires a little bit of angle, a little bit of awareness. Situational, basically is what I'm saying. Okay, now let's go into rage. The Kuma's rage drive, forward 1 + 2. It's a pretty decent rage drive, it's not bad. It can be better, of course. Like you can step it, for example. Right? To one side, tracks the other way. And it's only like +1, especially if there's no wall. But the good thing about this is you'll deal pretty decent damage. Like if the bear player does like a good combo, it does decent damage. It's fast, it's 18, has decent range. It also enables combos from knockdowns that you normally would not be able to combo. Like for example, after this, I think if a bear player does this fast enough, that's actually guaranteed, something like that. So it enables some combo extensions when it comes to some low hits. So be a little bit aware of that. Other than that, you can sidestep it to the right, but you also have to be very careful because the bear player might start like doing the lows like this, like literally start spamming lows because they know that you're gonna be afraid of this. So that and these lows are all a mix-up. So you have to be aware. Be very, very careful about it. Other than that, I think that's it. more or less. There might be some special interactions when it comes to gods as well. Against the bears. But it's not that big a deal. As I said, 4-4-3 is very strong. Electrics are also very strong against bears because you can't step it. So they're forced to either duck it or whiff punish it from afar. And usually bears don't want to try whiff punishing electrics because it's kind of risky for them. Sidestep 3 is also decent to use, to be honest. It's not bad at all. Because they can't really step it. But be aware that their hitbox may just make it whiff. But yeah, I think that's it for the speed lap for today. YouTube, big thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys for watching this, and I'll see you in the next video.